Hi, you guys. It's Yaz. Today, I want to talk about something that a lot of people are struggling with when they're meeting new people and they start to talk to new people. One of the biggest problems going on today, and the reason that a lot of relationships don't last or a lot of relationships can't even get started, is because everyone's wondering, is anybody loyal anymore? See, the thing is, today with social media and Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and all the other forms of social media, most people are on their phones switching from different media platform to another media platform. So when you meet somebody, and even like when it comes to the dating apps too, if you're doing that, you meet somebody, you start to talk to the person, and the two of you start to vibe, and you're getting along really good, right? And maybe you're talking every night, and you're feeling like, okay, this is going somewhere. And maybe you even get to the point of exclusivity, right? But one of the biggest barriers that you're going to face is whether you feel you could trust this person because of social media. So many relationships break down because of social media. Okay, you guys? Like years ago, we didn't have these problems, all right? You met somebody, you started to date them, and you didn't feel like you had to be a detective and see if they're talking on Facebook Messenger or if they're on Instagram, inboxing anybody. So the hardest thing today is, how do you know you can trust somebody? And I'm going to give you some tips, all right? Here's the thing, you guys. When you meet somebody, in the beginning, you don't know this person from a can of beans, okay? People can be very, very charming, very nice in the beginning. But how do you really know what they're about? You don't. That's why I tell you all the time, you cannot take somebody at face value. It's going to take time to reveal who they are, because eventually these people fuck up, okay? These people fuck up, or you're going to start to see signs that this person isn't as exclusive with you as you thought they were. Now, I want to bring up something else. Like a lot of women, they'll bring up, oh, my boyfriend, he follows all these women, or he likes their pictures or anything like that. First of all, let me just say this, all right? Men are very visual. So, to sit there and try to put them, lock them up and say, oh, I don't want you following anyone or something like that. You could do that to somebody that you're, exclusive with. But guess what? If they feel like they're boxed in, they're going to do it behind your back. A lot of times they're going to do it behind your back. They're going to have another profile or something and be doing it because of the addiction. And it's not so much even that they could be inboxing somebody. It's like eye candy that they can't resist. Now, just because somebody likes somebody's pictures doesn't necessarily mean that they're creeping on you, okay? This is what you have to keep in mind. You have to understand there's a fine line, and you have to know where you stand with that person, what you'll accept and what you won't. You could have somebody that you're in a relationship that could be liking all these pictures and then take it to the next level and be putting hearts or be flirting with them on their post and be like, looking very sexy, sweetie, or something like that, which is kind of like enticing to that person. Or they could be liking every single picture when they're in a relationship with you, which in my eyes is kind of like overstepping themselves. It's one thing to follow somebody. It's another thing to like all their pictures or to be, writing little flirty comments, which could be taken to the next level if that person takes the bait. So you really have to know, where your boundaries are with that person when it comes to social media. And, you can't be too stringent. Like I said, you can't be too stringent, because if the person feels boxed in, they're only going to resent you. But this podcast, I want to talk about trust, you guys. And how do you trust somebody that, you're dating and you're at that point of like you're only talking to each other, right? How do you know that this person isn't talking to somebody else? Well, there's a lot of different ways you could have in your gut that they are. One of the biggest reasons, a lot of people, let me just say one thing. A lot of people feel because somebody is always on the phone with them and giving them a lot of attention that they're not talking to somebody else, which is not the case. Because I've seen cases where somebody could be talking to you all day long from morning to night. And then you go to bed and guess what? They're on Facebook Messenger. And then you wake up the next day, you open up Facebook Messenger, and let's say it's 7 o'clock in the morning, and you see that person was on Facebook at 5 o'clock in the morning, okay? Or 3 o'clock in the morning. So what does that tell you? That tells you that person was on there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they were doing anything wrong. See, this is where everybody drives themselves crazy because they sit there and they say to themselves, well, are they talking to somebody else? Are they just on there on the news feed? Because sometimes you could be just, looking at the news feed and everything, and it's popping up that they're on Messenger. But this is what I have to tell you guys. You've got to watch these people's patterns, okay? And what do I mean by that? You have to see, when you talk to the person and you say to them, okay, are you just waking up or something like that? And they tell you, yeah, I'm just waking up. And you see that they've been on Facebook. I'm just using Facebook as an example, you guys, all night long. That is a red flag. And the red flag is not that they were on Facebook, on Messenger, but the red flag is that they lied about it. Okay? So this is what I mean. But you don't necessarily accuse anybody of anything or come at anybody or in any which way. You watch their pattern, you guys. You watch their pattern. Like I had a girlfriend, she was talking to this dude who used to have her on the phone from morning to night. And she would be on the phone with this guy, right? And there'd be times that she was on the phone with him and like she'd be like, hello, hello, and he wasn't saying anything. And it was almost like he put her on mute. He put her on mute or he switched over to another call and he wouldn't tell her. And she would say to him, I'm saying hello, hello. And he would use the excuse, well, I didn't hear you or this or that. Now, that could happen where somebody might put the phone down or walk into the other room. But if you see a pattern of this, you guys, a pattern of this could be somebody who's being shady with you, okay? This could be somebody that is picking up another call or something like that or doing something along those lines. And this particular guy also had another phone, which to her was a red flag. She had said, why do you have another phone? And he said, well, with phone plan, I got offered another phone and everything like that. See, here's the thing. You don't just go by one thing. When you feel, I always tell you guys, you got to trust your gut, but you can't be accusatory towards somebody over one little thing that's, on the fence. I mean, obviously, if you see somebody cheating, it's right there in front of you, okay? Or if somebody ghosts, it's right there in front of you, all right? But like with something like this, where you see, somebody on, let's say, Messenger, when they told you they were going to bed, that is a red flag if they lie about it. And this is what I mean about trust, okay? This is why I say you've got to move slowly with these people. And this is why it's so fucking hard today. Because when you meet these people, they had a life before they met you. They were talking to people before they met you. So when you start talking to them, one of the biggest things that is so, difficult to figure out is, are they still talking to those people? Or are they one of these people that just loves the thrill of, hitting up other women, or if it's the other way around, hitting up other men? Are they somebody that just loves the social media thrill and the ego boost of inboxing other people and chatting with other people. And you're going to start to see signs the longer you go out with them. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys, all right? You're going to start to see red flags and stuff like that. And I've known people that have done things in the sense that they've tried to catch people. Like my girlfriend, she was talking to some guy who was coming on strong, talking about marriage, all these things, you guys. And this particular guy also was overseas, all right? Turns out he was just looking for a green card. But here's the thing. The way she nailed him is she had a friend of hers inbox him on Facebook and start flirting with him. And guess what? He took the bait. He took the bait. And that's when she knew that this guy was not being upfront with her. Although she had her, gut feeling he wasn't, what she did is she had a friend of hers inbox him, and he was somebody that took the bait. Now, not everybody is going to take the bait. Other people, if they're really in tune with the game, might be suspicious that you have a friend that does something like that. So, that's not necessarily 100% that you're going to catch somebody that's out creeping on you. But my biggest piece of advice, you guys, is that you look at the cat that you're dealing with and you look at their history. I'm telling you, and I'll tell you again, somebody's history tells you everything about that person most times, okay? If they were somebody, for instance, that was in the Facebook group, adding every sexy woman that posted, was somebody that was always inboxing everybody and talking to everybody and shooting their shot to everybody, guess what? When you start talking to that person, it might be hard for that person to give up that temptation of hitting up other women, or it could be the other way. If it's a female, hitting up other men, all right? Because they love the thrill and the ego boost of flirting with other people, okay? This is why I tell you, be careful of people that, when they're with one person, they feel bored and they miss that excitement of inboxing other people. And you'll know by their history. For instance, if you're dealing with somebody who's got 5,000 women on their Facebook page and they don't have a hustle, like if it's a dude and he doesn't have an OnlyFans, or he's not promoting a brand, or he's not selling things to other women, guess what? He likes to hit up a lot of different women, okay? This is somebody that's, not just on a steady pattern with one person. This is somebody that, has a history of talking to multiple women. And now they're coming at you. And now they're telling you that they really want something with you, that they really like you and everything like that. And you have to ask yourself, is this person somebody that I could trust? Okay? So what do? We take our time and we let it unravel. And how do we do that? We watch the person's pattern. Are they consistent with you? Are they pulling any shady shit? In other words, are they disappearing here or there? What's their situation? Do they have other things, other options going on? Or are they somebody that maybe doesn't have a car, is stuck home, and is on social media, and that's their form of entertainment and doing what they do? And, you come along and you look like a good catch, and although they really like you, and although they say they really want something with you, you see certain things that could be a red flag. And that could be, that they're liking every girl's picture that they have, okay? Or they're calling her, queen when they're calling you queen. So this is why I say to you guys, it's really, really hard to find somebody that understands what it means to be exclusive in today's world. That's why everybody says, oh, it's hookup culture. It's hookup culture. Yeah, in a lot of ways, it is hookup culture. But the whole thing is, you guys, you got to find somebody who's woke. What do I mean by woke? somebody who really understands what it means not to give in to that temptation that, yeah, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. That, yeah, they really are ready for you. And the only way you're going to know is to see if this person is doing, shady things, like telling you they went to bed and they're on Facebook Messenger, okay? Or I'm just using it, like I said, I'm just using that as an example. Now, I want to bring up something else too, you guys. When you meet somebody, right, and you want to know if you could trust somebody, you got to look at that person, and you got to look at yourself, and you got to say to yourself, what benefit do I have to offer them? Why are they so interested in me? And if they sit there and they're like, oh, you're so beautiful and everything like that, first of all, okay, even though you may be very good looking and they're very attracted to you, attraction is a dime a dozen today. So let me just say one thing. It's not purely about attraction physically, mentally, or sexually. There's got to be some other thing that could be going on, which could be other kind of resources or benefits that you offer that person. Why is this person coming on to you and telling you that they want to be exclusive with you? And it's a huge red flag when somebody comes on fast and within a week, they're telling you they want to be in a relationship and they want to be exclusive with you. Like, I had a girlfriend who was dealing with something like that, where she met a guy that she met on Facebook, and the guy came on really strong. I mean, he was on the phone with her from morning to night. He was talking to her constantly, okay? He was talking about moving in with her within the first week, okay? And then she was seeing things like that were a little bit red flaggish. Like I said, he was on Facebook Messenger when he said he was going to bed and everything like that. And I said to her, you have to say to yourself, why is he coming on so strong, so fast? What is the benefit that you have to offer? Well, it turns out she lived in a house and he was living home. And he wanted to get out of that situation where he is. And he was pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And I told her, you've got to back off from that and tell him that, you know what? You're not jumping into anything. You're taking your time, okay? You're taking your time. And this, I mean, I can't say this enough. The biggest way to tell whether somebody is really sincere is the duration of, how they show you how much they like you, and if they could keep it up, okay? And if you're not going to offer them a benefit, for instance, of moving in together, are they still going to want to stick around? This is what you have to ask yourself. So she was like, you know what? I'm just going to take it slow and everything like that. And, this guy, he wanted to move in without even coming to visit her. He hadn't even come to visit her, you guys. And he was talking about moving in and helping her and everything like that. Well, you know what? Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. So when she brought up to him, well, you want to come see me, because they didn't live in the same state. She was like, you know what? You got to get your own apartment. We've got to get to know each other. He was like, well, I don't want to, have to pay for an apartment. That's kind of ridiculous and everything like that. That is another huge red flag. This particular dude was trying to move really fast, okay? He didn't want to take it slow because of some kind of benefit that he was looking for, okay? So, you've got to look at everything when you're starting to get to know somebody and ask yourself, what is the benefit of that? What is the benefit that you are offering that person? Okay. But, I'm going off a little bit on the side with this podcast. What I was primarily trying to talk about was trust, like a lot of people say you just can't trust anybody anymore. And that's not true. There are people that you can trust, but you have to take it slow and you have to watch and see the pattern, okay? So in sum, you guys, it's like this. When you meet somebody and you're dating them, and then you're getting to the point where, you're talking to them a lot and they're telling you like, oh, I'm only talking to you. I'm only talking to you. Number one rule, 9 times out of 10, they are not only talking to you in the beginning, and especially if you guys don't live near each other. Okay? You can't be naive and think that that's happening, because if they can, they will be talking to other people. It is very, very, very rare to find somebody that, if they have the freedom to be able to jump on social media and talk to other people and not do it. It's very rare to find somebody that won't do that with all of the temptation out there. And the way you're going to know is by knowing that person's prior track record of hitting up people and talking to people. And if they have a lot of people, for instance, on their Facebook, on their Instagram, and it's not about their hustle, it's not about building their brand or something like that. They just have a lot of people because they've talked to a lot of people. There's some people that go on Facebook Messenger and it's pure entertainment for it. I used to laugh about it with my girlfriend and say, you know what? These dudes think that this is Pornhub. They think that they just hit up a chick on Facebook Messenger, and a lot of them are just looking for sexy pictures. They're looking to video chat with you because they're trying to get something for free, which is a video chat or a sexual video chat. And they know that all they got to do is love bomb you and tell you how much they're so into you and, they want a future with you and everything like that. And right away, the women are taking off their clothes, okay? They're taking off their clothes. And you've become like, you're strictly entertainment with them. And then meanwhile, guess what? When you're going to bed, they're hitting up somebody else on their list of 5,000 women, and they're doing the same thing with somebody else a lot of times. Not everybody, you guys, not everybody. That's why I'm telling you, you got to look at that pattern, and you've got to give yourself time, and you don't move quickly with these people because you don't want to be used for somebody's entertainment. Okay? You've got to know the type of cat that you're dealing with. If you're dealing with a cat that's dealt with a lot of fucking women, guess what? It's going to be really hard for that person to just be talking to you when they could be talking to other people. So you got to keep that in your mind. And I'm not saying that it's not possible, and I'm not trying to be negative or something like that, but what I'm trying to say is somebody's character is somebody's character. So that's the way you're going to know whether this is somebody that you could be exclusive with, or this is somebody who's making you option number 1, but they haven't cut options 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all right? So, it's like you become exclusive with them, and yet when you're exclusive with them, they're still adding other women onto their Facebook. Their list is still growing and growing when they're telling you they're just talking to you. These are all red flags, you guys. So like I said, you got to give yourself time, and you've got to look at the pattern, okay? So I hope that helps you, and if it did, please hit the subscribe button and share. Hi, you guys. I just want to make you aware that the Game Exposed podcast now has their merchandise available. You can check out the link in the podcast description. There's hoodies, there's sweatpants, there's t-shirts, there's cool hats. So go check it out. Link is in the podcast description. And follow Yaz on Instagram at dating_advice_Yaz. Hi, you guys, it's Yaz, and I want to tell you about my 2 books on Amazon. The first book is Regain Your Power. It's all about power and relationship. Who has the power in the relationship? And it goes into all of that, okay? The other book is Signs He's Not Into You, He's Wasting Your Time, okay? Check it out. It gives you a lot of good clues as to whether you're with somebody who's a real one or somebody who's just going to waste your time. You could read them both with Kindle's free trial membership. So check it out. Link is in the podcast description.